Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, October 3rd. We are on the European account now. Seems very weird. I guess I just got everything done on Monday, so now I only have like 2 daily quests to deal with, which I've been kind of used to having to do 3 daily quests every time for a while. So they've changed some things, and things are slightly different now. I suppose for my European account, they've allowed everybody to do this new welcome bundle, but I am fairly certain I didn't do the original welcome bundle on my European account. So I've lost out on doing that. And so it doesn't really matter, but it kind of sucks. Potentially I could have spent $5 to get the previous welcome bundle, which would have been cheaper than buying the card packs in this valuation of 7 packs for $10 versus 10 packs for $5. And yeah, well, but in the long run I'm 99.9% free to play, and I'm happy with that. And frankly, the amount of missing cards that I am missing on even the European and Asian account of classic cards is pretty small. Did I click that right? Classic, crafting, and then I have to type in missing. Yeah. It's pretty small. It really is just a collection of epics and legendaries that you're not super likely to have or get in opening 10 packs anyways. And I certainly wouldn't want to throw money into Hearthstone. Like, there's a lot of legendaries still to collect. Alright, we have a tavern brawl we need to do, and our other daily quests are Hunter Mage, Druid Hunter, so if we overlap Hunter victories we'll get that done pretty quickly. I really just have a lot of games to talk about, and as far as news, not a ton of other news stories to mention. Although there is this interesting story from Gamasutra. The Seattle police are trying a new opt-in registry system to combat swatting. So it's not specific to Seattle, definitely, but the idea that I could call my local police station and say, hey, I'm a YouTuber, there's this thing called swatting, people will try and get my address and try and call the police and have them come in and have the SWAT come in and shoot me, or at least disrupt my life. Let me give you my information, let me prove to you that whatever calls or claims are coming in are not true and don't need to be responded with the deadliest of deadly force of how SWAT break-ins usually are. How this really works, I'm not sure. So I'm interested if this works in if it works in Seattle. I'd like it to work worldwide. Generally speaking, though, I think this is not just a thing where you need YouTubers to opt in. This is a thing where the police need to learn about swatting, and the 911 call centers need to learn about swatting and do their best to be able to figure this out and respond correctly. Let's see. This article goes on to say swatting has caused a numerous number of injuries and at least 1 death, not to mention countless needlessly stressful situations. If you're a game dev in Seattle area who likes to live stream, this seems like a program you might be interested in. So Gamasutra, being more focused around game devs, is focusing their story around game devs, but frankly it would be for everybody. Like anybody and everybody that's streaming. Quote, the Seattle Police Department has received a request to create a registry where residents concerned about swatting can communicate those concerns to the local 911 center, reads the excerpt of the announcement. Our challenge was to move forward and implement an improved business process while protecting the privacy of the community we serve, to acknowledge it. Ars Technica points out that Seattle Police already maintains an opt-in online registry for people to volunteer important information about themselves. They want emergency services to know about allergies, medical issues, for example. Now they've expanded the registry out and to make room for submitting information that enforcement should know about specific locations like your home or your studio, for example. When a call comes in regarding that location, dispatchers will reportedly mobilize a response team and then check the database to see if there's anything they should know, like the fact whether that whoever lives there likes to stream video games and is concerned about being swatted. I wonder. In the end, it doesn't seem like there's any real procedure change that's happening with this. It still seems like SWAT will be dispatched, and SWAT more than likely will still act in similar or the same ways as it has always done. It's not an opt-in registry that we need. We need the police in every situation to be able to stop doing no door knocks pretty much every single time. Like the no door knock thing has been hugely abused and overly approved by the court system. They need to approach every scenario, the police forces do, with a calm and controlled mentality, and not with a hyper, I feel threatened for my life because of everything and anything around me, thus I'll shoot first and never ask questions. Like, and certainly it's a hard problem, because the one thing you wouldn't want this opt-in registry system to expand into is the idea that somebody could then get their information listed on this opt-in registry, and then the SWAT police don't show up, so you can go murder that person, which would be the counter abuse of that system. Is you convince the police to not come at all, and the police do need to come on every report, come based on it, every report, and investigate it. It's just how they investigate it. And I don't know how you do that. Like, the only thing you could say is, hey, I'm live streaming on this YouTube channel, so if you want to see me, you could, but even that could be abused, certainly. Like, that might help a little bit if the 911 call center could pull up the YouTube channel and see that it's live and see that the person is just live streaming. That would be maybe slightly helpful. Yeah. And certainly it gets into a weird point where, what if it is a case of, are we going to get down to a point where people are just going to have to opt out of all police protection? Like, just, if you get a SWAT call at my house whatsoever, just don't come. Because that's really kind of all it could boil down to. or come slower, come later, or don't put priority on it. Like, you really can't go to that level. Another thing that they have done in some cities, I heard about this, is that the Ring doorbells, the online doorbell systems, you can opt into you can opt into letting the police at any time at their discretion look at the doorbell records and see if somebody, say, ran across your lawn, maybe it caught the face of the person, or if somebody tried to break into your front door and maybe it caught the face. And then, of course, as soon as you give that kind of information to the police and the prosecutors in particular, they may use it against you to say, hey, this person who is a known criminal has been seen entering your house multiple times, therefore you're associated with a known criminal, therefore we should be allowed to prosecute you and search your house for criminal activity. Like, the 1984 mentality has to always be protected against. Let's see. Moving on though, we have a game on Steam called Night Team, N-I-T-E, Night Team 4. Says it's a military hacking simulation game that explores the world of cyber warfare and features realistic mission scenarios. Interesting. It looks like it's pretty text heavy, and it doesn't look like you're doing any real hacking as much as you're just playing some games that have been made up. So it's kind of like a strategy game with the hacking story. My hand is too full. It's really dark themed, which would probably be cool to play, but does make a lot of dark screenshots. Feels a little bit like Plague Inc. Evolved. Let's see, it's early access. It's 15% off for $25, and let's see, do this. Play this. Play this. Job's done. In return. Yeah, it's 15% off for $25.49. Let's see what if this developer has made Night Team 3. Let's see, they made a game called The Black Watchman in 2015. It was 89% positive and 408 reviews. They have a game called Anario, The Dream World, which is 90% of 98 user reviews. Let's see. They have something. That seems like that's kind of it. So, Night Team 4 is not the fourth game in the series, it's just a name of it. Well, this game is pretty expensive, but I'll keep an eye on it just to see what the reviews are. They deserve at least that much, considering their previous games are well reviewed. Next we have a no-brainer game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That will definitely go to my wish list. You really can't. It's not going to be very high priority, in all fairness, but I'll put it on there. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, having not played Assassin's Creed Origins, is really low priority. In fact, there's quite a few Assassin's Creed games that after Assassin's Creed 3 I haven't played. So and we're kind of at a stopping point because Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered is coming out, and I'm hoping to get that remaster upgrade for free. There's a meme joke where in 2007 Ubisoft claimed they removed the crossbow in Assassin's Creed 2, I believe, because it wasn't historically accurate, and now Assassin's Creed Odyssey has you fighting minotaurs and flying through the air and giant bombs. Somebody on the Bombcast was talking about how much they have just turned the characters in this game into superheroes, and it is completely left the realm of reality. Also, they've gotten rid of the hidden blade and then instead are using a spear, or the head of a spear, not a full spear. Also, that there's a lot of opportunities to kick people off of the edges of cliffs, which apparently you can do at any time you want. So yeah, they're trying a lot of different things. They also said they're going forward, they're always going to have a female character. Fair enough. The weird thing I'd say about the male and female character, particularly in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, is that they've written different responses of dialogue and different personalities for the two characters. So you kind of have to play the game twice if you want to see all the dialogue. I doubt very many people are going to do that. They're saying, from what I hear, the female character is written better. Yeah, but I'm so far behind on the Assassin's Creed series that it really wouldn't make a lot of sense to buy this brand new and get the Ultimate Edition and pay all the extra. That being said, if somebody just desperately wanted to see me cover a game that I'm sure plenty of other people have covered, they could certainly gift me the game. Of course, then I have to get greedy and say, please gift me the complete deluxe edition so I can do all the DLC and do the game in one run. There is this underlying issue, certainly, of I'm not likely to go back to a game and do its DLC. It just kind of doesn't happen. So now I just need some Druid and Hunter victories. And Tragic Master said good game. Thank you, Tragic. Tragic Master always keeping the chat going. Oh, apparently the game actually is available for pre-order right now on Steam. It's not open until the 5th of October. And you can get the standard version for $60, the deluxe version for $80, the gold version for $99, and the ultimate edition for $120. So really expensive game. And in the long run, I am not sure if it's not going to be a pretty forgettable game. Like, because all they seem to be doing is shifting Assassin's Creed into being like Mass Effect more than maintaining whatever was left of the Assassin's Creed idea. Like, first of all, you have to say Assassin's Creed 2 threw out the entire idea of what Assassin's Creed 1 was. But up until at least Black Flag, the series was, for the most part, maintaining what Assassin's Creed 2 established as a game. But then Origins kind of threw most of that out, and Odyssey is throwing most of that out. Eventually, I think you'll probably end up playing a top-down twin-stick shooter called Assassin's Creed, because they're shifting the audience to a completely different style of game. That's a joke, of course. If anything, what they'll do is they'll shift you into a first-person shooter, like Battlefield, and just abandon all the story, abandon all the missions. Okay. Nice, in the turn there. Next we have a game on Steam called Blam Blocks, which is not to be confused, I guess, with Boom Blocks. Says it's a score chasing game that's simple word but hard to master. Seems like it's a physics game. It's brightly colored. I don't see how it really works though. And is there a video? Yeah, show me this video. You're this robot flying in space, and you're shooting blocks that are either red, yellow, or blue into goals on the right side of the screen. And maybe there's some multiplayer where you can play as different characters.
Aim and fire.
This is actually a rather pretty looking game. It seems like you can also change your robot in the middle of gameplay to have different types of enemy firing styles. So the red robot seems to fire differently than the blue robot does. Many times I've said that games look like a programmer's first year program. That it really is missing some quality and it's not very good. This is a Blam Box is a game that I would hope is a good first year programmer's like end of the year project. It looks really good. It's 33% off for $1.33. It's got polish on it. It's the first game from this developer, and I want to reward that, so I'm gonna put Blam Box on my wish list, even knowing that it probably won't get enough people to watch it, to ever play it.
Ooh, I wonder what this does.
Let's see. Do I want to kill this?
I hunt alone.
Overwatch has teased / announced that there will be Overwatch Lego minifigs coming out. They also have Overwatch statues.
Someday I'll be just like
Honestly, I would probably get the Overwatch statues if I was big into Overwatch before I'd get the Overwatch minifigs, because the minifigs have to live in that minifig world. All it really says is coming soon, and you see some guy in Overwatch outfits, I don't know who, put together a mini tracer minifig, and then she becomes this animated minifig mini tracer that jumps around. The fact that they're saying this is sets is kind of surprising, because I would have thought that it would have been a Telltale Games Overwatch series at least first. It's actually rather odd that they would go with sets. And I don't know what those sets could really be. When you think about it, it kind of could just be any random small groupings of Overwatch maps and minifigure characters. And there aren't that many heroes in Overwatch, so you're gonna get the complete collection when you have, what, 30 minifigs? So I wouldn't be surprised if they split 4 minifigs per set, and they sell 6, I guess, 6 or 7 sets of varying sizes. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Become the Hunted. Play as a wolf. You have to navigate your way around a vast dried up seabed, build a base, scavenge for food, follow simple missions whilst you explore around the bleached rocks and long forgotten shipwrecks. However, you must avoid poachers, unfriendly wolves, and ... So this looks like it's probably an early access survival style asset flip game, as to just immediately guess. It does have a nice animation style for the characters, but the UI looks horrible. Yeah, this is an asset flip where somebody has made a good dried up desert seabed area, and somebody has made a good wolf animation, and then somebody else has made an asset flip game with that stuff. The hunter is $6.99. The only thing that would save this game is if somehow this developer made something else, but they hadn't. So I'm going to close that. Continue playing. Next we have a game on Steam called Valthirian Arc. That's VALTHIRIAN Arc. Hero School Story. Have you ever wondered where all the powerful knights and wizards come from? No one is born a hero. It's your job as principal of Valthiria Academy to train the most promising students to become heroes of legend, which is an interesting idea. And this is probably a Japanese created game because it's being published by PQ Limited. I'm learning slowly all the names of the main Japanese publishers and developers. Developers, you probably never get all the names of them because they pop up and disappear. This kind of looks like it could have been a cell phone game, or could be designed to be both a cell phone game and a PC game. But how it actually plays is really what it's going to fall down to. It is an RPG, so it's not like a clicker or a management game where you're just putting students in a class and then coming back 5 hours later. The animation style is not going for that anime style. It's going for more of the old fantasy characters. It kind of feels like you designed the academy. Yeah, you do. You build the buildings, and so it is sort of a management building games. And then you can forge alliances with up to 5 queendoms. You usually don't see that in cell phone games. And then, at the very least, you see them fight. Maybe you don't actually control them when they're fighting. Let's see. This game is 10% off for $13.99. It does kind of have a feel in the way it's described as a game that is designed to make you make your own fun instead of doing it yourself. First review I see here is not recommended. It says, as much as I want to support this game, sadly it's just not for me. The graphics are cute, the fighting is fun for the first hour, but that's about all it is. It's not immersed by a story of it or any character. I can't have more rooms, I can't design my own academy the way I want to because everything is predetermined, which means you can't even add more street lamps or flour anywhere else. The game itself is too simple and is targeted for mobile game as it's all about grinding to unlock more stuff with no depth. Okay, so it is just a cell phone game ported to Steam. And as fancy as it looks, playing a cell phone game on Steam doesn't make any sense. This developer also hasn't put anything else on Steam. It's 79% of 24 user reviews, and yeah, I can buy that. Like, it makes sense.
I wonder what this does.
That I played that wrong. That if people know what this is, if they know it's just a mobile game, or even possibly slightly bigger than most mobile games, I could see why you'd be okay with it if that's the kind of game you're into. In a weird way, these mobile games are starting to feel a lot like their own little genre. And there are specific types of video game players out there that only like to play these mobile management games. But yeah, my channel, it would take way too long. If I wasn't doing something like Hearthstone and I was playing a mobile game like this, maybe that would also probably, nobody would be interested in that. Moving on, TechRaptor has their review for Mega Man 11, and we saw that it was on Steam already and getting reviewed pretty well, so let's just skip down to the bottom. They gave it a 7.5, very good. Mega Man 11 marks some minor changes of the classic platforming formula. While nothing is wrong with the gameplay, it feels tired at this point. I guess it really comes down to whether or not you've played a lot of the previous Mega Man games, and as I haven't, I wouldn't be tired of it. The pros are classic platforming gameplay, the gear system and graphical upgrade looks great. The cons are little innovation overall, uneven gameplay, difficulty, and forgettable extras and music. I think I already read this review, by the way. Next we have a game on Steam called Chronon, C-H-R-O-N-O-N. It says it's a puzzle game in the first person, and that's all it says is the description. Low effort game description, particularly considering how it doesn't look too bad. It seems like it's a game that has some puzzles. It's sort of kind of like The Witness, and you're trying to solve these puzzles for some reason. It feels like it very much has a Witness vibe to it. The puzzles are different. Oh, I kind of wonder if this is a VR game because you're manipulating a lot of objects in 3D space. No, it's not. $29.90. It's really expensive. Really expensive, though. And it has like one user review. I'm surprised that. Okay. So the one review is from somebody who has 7.5 hours on record. It says, I bought this game shortly after release for €29.90 euro.
I wonder what this does.
And I'm said that I cannot recommend this game title without a significant reduction of the selling price. The main reason for that is it's too short for that price. I finished the game by solving what appears to be all the puzzles in 6.5 hours. At least the game told me that I had finished it. There's no real prior indication that entering the final door would be my last action of the game. The game has no story whatsoever. It's just basically you're just basically stranded on an island and follow a linear path of puzzles, which at times can be tedious because you're left without any real indication on how to solve these puzzles. Interesting. So I'm put in a point where this game is too expensive. It's the first game from this developer, and I kind of would love to play it, but I can't do it at that price tag. And that price tag is so extensively high, it really just boils down to forget it. Like, I would kind of want to not have to say that, but it really is. It's these puzzles could be all asset flips and just polished a little bit better than your standard asset flips too.
I wonder.
Hey, I literally can't do anything, so do this and this. Okay, I can attack here. And that. Yeah. Just because they set their price so high, I have to forget this game. And if it turns out that it's really good and it comes back at a major discount in a few years, I'll have to hope that somebody finds it as a hidden gem. Moving on, we have a game called Battlecry World at War. It's a text-based military MMORPG, so I'm out immediately. third-party EULA. It's free to play. I don't think it's much of a real game. It looks like a mobile game ported to PC, if anything. So I'll close that tab real quick. I'm really wondering these days how many people are really into military games because they're military games. I can get totally that people are into shooters, but with over a decade of Halo and people just being willing to play first-person shooters in the fantasy realm, how many people specifically was thinking, I was playing this game because it reminded me of military things, or because I love the military? I'm not sure if that ever was actually the case. There are a few. There are definitely some gun nuts out there that love to see the realistic guns, and I could get that. And tank nuts that love to see realistic tanks. But I don't know how big that number is. Alright, deal 2 damage to kill that one. And do that. I guess to kill that one. And I guess I'll kill that one. Next we have a game on Steam called Visage. That's V-I-S-A-G-E. It says it's a first-person psychological horror game. Explore a mysterious, ever-changing house in a slow-paced atmospheric world that combines both uncannily comforting and horrifying realistic environments, and enjoy a genuinely terrifying experience. Long words in that sentence. So I'm looking at the trailer. I'm not sure if what I'm seeing here is good or just mediocre, or how to really take it.
On guard. Access denied.
See, this game Visage on the first place is just going into that extremely flooded market of a horror game, a dark spooky house. Like, I think everybody thinks they can do it, whereas anybody who actually probably could make a game like that would be wise enough to say, look, this market is just way too flooded. There's no way we can do a spooky house as the entirety of a game. Yeah, also, leaving it as just a small house, it makes you immediately know that you're doing a pretty small game. Instead of... should have attacked this. There we go. Think I might win here. Like, sure, Resident Evil 1 was for the most part in a house, but there was also other elements. Some of these screenshots certainly do seem like the house changes and morphs. I guess the question really is going to come down to what's the price in this early access game, and that's 20% off for $20. And is this game developed by somebody who has developed something else and deserves some credibility? And the answer to that is no. It is rated very positive, 93% of 128 reviews, so I guess I have to bow to the crowd at that point. Yeah, I'll bow to the crowd. I'll put this one on my wish list. if I was a faster YouTuber who could cover games quicker, a game like that would probably be great to play right now in the middle of Halloween. Alright, one more victory. It's a little bit slow going. Next we have a game called Big Day. Big Day has arrived. Blast your way through the apocalypse in a bloody pixel art ARPG. Riding through the ruins of the last days of Earth following a devastating zombie outbreak. Uncover the truth behind the crisis, find your missing daughter, and blow holes in everything. Action RPG being a new thing that is getting used as a phrase by mostly bad game creators. This game is 64% positive of 28 user reviews. I think being that low that early tells you a lot about the game. It is a pixel art top-down twin-stick shooter. That's where you're shooting a bunch of zombies and monsters that are slightly interestingly animated, but there's way too many of them on the screen. This is in English and simplified Chinese, which probably tells me it's a cheap Chinese game. I kind of have to assume that. 10% off for $8.99, which that's too expensive. $5 would be the maximum I'd play for even the best version of a top-down twin-stick shooter with 8-bit pixel graphics. I mean, this really doesn't look too bad for what they're showing. So the only thing I guess is if this developer had some credibility, and no they don't. This is the only game that they have on Steam. Again, that feels like a game that would have been never released on Steam, except for the fact that China is not allowing games on other platforms or in China to be approved at all. Next we have a ugly looking game called Slingshot Explorer: The 12 Towers, which looks like a Windows 3.1 game. And it's not widescreen, so it's like a low effort mobile game ported to PC. It's $5.99, that's ridiculous. Jim Sterling did a video covering one of the mini games with Hinta in the name, going back to the well that he used to do before of covering bad games on Steam. Like, he really didn't have anything too interesting to say about it. There really isn't anything too interesting to say, and really he's just giving coverage to bad games, which that's always the argument is, do you report on the news or do you just not talk about it? And I guess you report on the news. The fact that there are 36 low effort named games is the problem and indicators of just a lot of low effort development in the games themselves. Let's see. Here we have a game on Steam called La Place, L-A-P-L-A-C-E, that's only in Chinese. Looks like it's an MMO, so can't review that one.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, I said I was gonna stop listening to Jim Sterling, and I haven't managed to pull myself away from that drug yet. But I think I probably will at some point stop listening to his input 100%. Oh man, I could have done a steady shot. Next we have a game on Steam called City Battle Virtual Earth. It's mixed reviews, 57% of 116 user reviews. Says it's an MMO free-to-play shooter. So I guess the price is free, but English is not supported. It's a Russian-only game. I missed that part. It honestly doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look great either, and clearly the people that are playing it aren't having a great time. Let's see. What can we do? Let's see. If I hit... Like I can do this and see what that does. I can do that. I can do that. Next we have a game called Nobophobia, N-O-B-O. It says it's an atmospheric 3D horror where you have to find your way out of a mysterious labyrinth of rooms and corridors. Stop me when you've heard that one before. Dark screenshot syndrome, where every single screenshot is 90% black and you can't see anything at all. The little things I can see don't look very textured or very good. 40% off for $2.39. One user review. Don't need to even see a user review to say that this game is probably garbage. Let's see, the 4 other games this developer has made, none of which have been reviewed. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Medieval Survival. It says it's in a different world and completely different time. It seems like it's an asset flipped of a sort of medieval area where you're fighting, I guess, werewolves with guns and modern Counter-Strike Go looking weapons and hands, stone grenades. So, like, definition of an asset flip, just random assortment of items that make no sense. It's 30% off for $2.79. What has this developer made? Oh, this is the exact same developer that made Nophobia. So they released 2 different games out at the exact same time, and they also have the other 2 games they have ready to come out is Border of Insanity and Attack of Mutants. So probably a troll developer, if I was to guess.
One for all and all for me.
We have Chroma : Sexy Hinta Girls on Steam. Let's see. This one, the girls seem to be a little bit better integrated, but you're doing some kind of color puzzle game. And as you solve the color puzzle game, they start losing clothing. We have another screenshot here of showing a bare breast in the screenshot. I would say the girls in this one, here's another shot of bare breasts, are all the same body type, and it's going for a different animation style too. They're not the slightly shorter anime characters you tend to see. Let's see, this developer has made like 4 troll games. I think Steam is gonna get onto this though. Like, Steam may be slow. Undoubtedly Steam is slow. But I really feel like they are going to eventually work towards fixing the issues.
Ooh, I wonder what this does.
That exist. Like, I really do think that is going to... we'll see filters come up, we'll see things get flagged, we'll see eventually games will not make it to Steam until they're looked at. But I think it probably will take at least 3 to 6 months for them to finally solve it. And reporting on things is fine. I'll continue to report on the current state of Steam releases. but also harping on things like PC Gamer was doing, in which they were writing an article every couple of days about it, is not realistically helpful. Also not realistically helpful is just to lose so consistently. Next game we have on Steam is called Little World of Creatures. It says it's like a multiplayer massive MMO. It looks like you're playing as some kind of creature in some sort of aggro.io type game, or in 3D, or a Spore style game. Yeah, it seems like it really is just you play as a certain type of creature and you fight each other by bouncing into each other. Doesn't look very fun or in depth. It's 40% off for $2.39. It doesn't interest me at all, so I'm going to close that tab. Next we have a game on Steam called Hell's Little Story 2. It says it's a platformer in its best manifestations. A mixture of different games, mechanics, shooting, attempts to escape from monsters, and achievements. In this game there is all of this. Okay, that was a description that was selling itself very well, but you know, this really just looks like a first year programming student's project. The animation is bad and it just looks like a platformer. There's coins, entire lines of coins that you're supposed to follow, and yeah, this just looks super simplistic. There's nothing here that makes this stand out. It's an English and Russian game. So do you call it a troll game, or do you just call it a low effort game? I don't know. It's 33% off for $2.67. Let's see. This is Hell's Little Story 1 was 47% positive with 21 reviews, and it came out February 2017, so at least they put some time in between it. But for a sequel, it certainly doesn't look up to the level of even an original game as far as quality. I believe this will be our first Gematsu article. 2Kyo Games, Grounding, and Izanagi Games announced an action-adventure death game called Deathmatch Club for PC. 2Kyo Games was this new development team that came about, and they showed off, I believe it was like 8 pictures of games they're working on, and one of the pictures that they showed off is now being used for this game called Deathmatch Club, which is due out in 2020, so it's really early. Questionable why you would announce the formation of a new company and really not have even as much to say about it as you would like. But that is kind of the Japanese way too, and it's coming to PC, and that sounds like an amazingly good move, because more Japanese games that go straight to PC, the better quality and the less of dealing with issues, certainly of Sega or Microsoft potentially censoring or not pushing your game. We have a game on Steam called Steel Dungeon. It looks like a top-down twin-stick shooter. We're seeing more and more of these. They're calling it a rogue-like first-person shooter. Both could easily be true. It's 20% off for $3.19, and there's nothing super visually impressive, so unless this game was developed by somebody who had done something else impressive, it's going to get closed. It's an English and simplified Chinese game. Gamatsu has an article. Altair, or Atler, sorry, Atelier online is now available in Japan. So if you're in Japan or somehow can access that smartphone game, didn't really need to report on that one. Let's see. Next we have a game that is only in Chinese. It's called The Great Hero. Looks like it's a MMO RPG type game. We'll close the tab on that. Gamma Sutra has an article. Haifumi Kato. This is a really long name. It's Haifumi Kato -supervised Haifumin's Soji Dojo. It is coming out December 20th in Japan. I don't think this one's coming to the West because it's Shogi, Shogi, which is Japanese chess, and nobody knows how to play that except for people in Japan. It's coming out for the Switch. Yeah, maybe it would come out to the Switch eShop, but I doubt it gets translated. Like, I don't know how to play Soji. Gamatsu has an article. Sega announces a real-time strategy game, Revolve 8 Episodic Dueling, produced by Masayoshi Kikuchi, with the character designer by Koji Igarashi. That's all we really know. A full reveal is coming out October 11th, so we'll have more information about what Revolve 8 is. You would have thought that more stuff would have been released during the Tokyo Game Show, but I guess it's just as easy to let that information out whenever. We have a game on Steam called Protest. It says, a long adventure of two girls in love, cute anime girls struggle with discrimination, only you can save their pure love. Exciting RPG with nice anime graphics. So I'm gonna watch this trailer. You would think that this is immediately an RPG Maker game, but if it is, it's not the RPG Maker I'm thinking of. This is in English and Russian and Ukrainian, so you have to ask that question. It's like, why are you doing Japanese anime if you're English or Russian or Ukrainian? The animation style is not good in at least some of the things, and then it goes to some kind of RPG that maybe this is the new RPG Maker MX. Regardless, this is just a troll game, a joke game, low effort game. 40% off for $1.19. It's probably just enough content to go over the 2 hours of gameplay, and that's it. Now, it's possible that this is a Russian protest game against Russians' anti-gay sentiments, but I doubt it. This is probably just a troll developer, because one of the games they've developed is called LSD, and one of their games is called Weed. Yeah, this is just a troll developer flooding Steam with garbage games. Okay, so I'm looking at my timer right now, and I was getting concerned, certainly, that my timer was not going to go off. We only have I'm taking way too long to cover the news. I need to learn that even if I feel like there isn't a lot of news, I need to move a lot faster through it. At this point, we may end up with a longer Friday stream than we really need to have. As far as daily quest on Hearthstone, we're done on the European account, so we can move over to the Asian account. This is the point to break up the recording, so as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.